everyone, it's Julia. I have a Christmas gift that I made this last week and I filmed it and I thought you might enjoy it. Now, I did this project several years ago on I think it was on a pillow, but I did not share the design, and I do have this design now available in my Etsy store. And it's in a packet form and has the directions of how to make this little zippered pouch. And in the back it does have the actual template and it has all the pieces, and I do reverse the pieces so it's very easy to turn it into a little applique. And the reason why I chose it for my sister-in-law is her name is Robin, and she's also has a beautiful singing voice, and this little robin is sitting on a branch and it says, "Birds don't worry, they sing." And I just thought how appropriate that would be. So I hope she's not watching, and if she is, I hope she likes it, because this is what's part of her gift. It goes together really easy. I hope you like this. Let's get started. The supplies needed, you'll want an inner and an outer, and a piece of quilt batting that'll go between the layers. I do have some scraps for the applique, some Heat and Bond Light, which is a paperback adhesive that I use. My zipper is a 14-inch. And then I'm going to be using a water-soluble stabilizer. That's to put the words on, and that is optional. I'm going to make my sandwich first here, just the outer fabric and the batting behind, and we'll start with the applique. I'm just laying my paperback adhesive on the top of my pieces. I can see through it really easily, and just drawing these on. I've already reversed these pieces, so you can just draw them right on. You don't have to do the reversing yourself. I am just grouping the colors. Like this is the dark gray, so the wing and the tail and the little legs. Just rough cutting that out and lay that aside. Once I have everything drawn out, I'm just going to iron these on the back side of my little scraps of fabric. And then fussy cutting. Just cutting right on the line. There's not a lot of pieces, so this part of it goes really quickly. And now to assemble my applique, just taking that paper off of my little pieces. And then I do have a pressing sheet here. If you do not have a pressing sheet, you can use parchment paper. And I can see through that, and so I can just line up the little pieces right, so I get everything in the right spot. And then I'm just going to iron this. The trick with these little, I just threw trial and error, is you want that to completely cool before you peel it off. So I'm just going to leave that to cool while I go on to the branch. And now it's cool enough where I can carefully peel this off of this pressing sheet. And it's all one piece now, and I can just lay it where I want on my little pouch. Now notice how my batting sticks out. I do cut that a little bit bigger than my outer fabric, and then I'll just trim it afterwards. Just deciding how I want this on there. I don't want the bird's head to be in the way of the zipper. One more thing I want to do before I take it to my sewing machine is to draw on the little legs and the feet. And I just used a heat erase pen for that. And I just drew those little legs on. And then also the little doodles on the leaves. I'm just going to draw these on. I can do this at the sewing machine too, but sometimes I forget how I want to do things. So doing them beforehand just helps. And then I'm going to draw in the little eye too, which you're not going to see very well, but at my sewing machine I can see the position. I do have my feed dogs dropped. I have my free motion foot on. I just have all-purpose black thread in, and I'm using a zigzag, free motion zigzag here just to get the feathery look. And at this point I wish I would have used the rusty color to match the robin's breast. I do change later and do some detail work on that with the rust thread. Free motion zigzag is a lot of fun. It's just an easy way to add little doodles, and then I love it for any kind of fur look or feather look. It's just a lot of fun. And then drawing in those little feet. I did switch to a yellow thread here to add the beak, and brown thread for the branch. And just going to add the details to these little leaves with the same brown thread. Now I'm switching to that rusty colored thread and just going to add just some going back and forth on this piece, and just to fill in the color a little bit. For the words, now I'm going to be using this water-soluble stabilizer. I can see through it really easily, and I'm just tracing the words on. And then I'm just going to lay that right where I want it. Add a few pins. And then I'm going to take this to my sewing machine, and I'm going to stitch those words using black thread. And then go back and dot my I's. And here I forgot to cross my T. I had to go back and do that later. I didn't notice it at all until I took the stabilizer off. And I wanted to share too, I'm just removing that stabilizer, just carefully removing the big pieces. And then I'll take a wet, just spritz it with water, and then take a paper towel and take my iron and remove that. But I wanted to say, if you didn't want to put the words on with free motion, I will link down below pens that work really well to write on fabric. The Pitt pens work really well for that. They are an Indian ink, and they're waterproof, and they don't bleed into the fabric. Now this is the back side of my pouch, and I'm just going to quilt that by doing a diagonal strip, or just like a channel quilt. And then I'm going to also take and remove that extra batting. For the zipper, just laying that zipper face down, opening it up, I'm just getting the left side even and the top even. And then I'm going to sandwich that lining piece on top. So that zipper is in between the layers. And the lining piece is face down on top of it. You can see it a little bit better there, what I'm doing. And just going to use my Wonder clips and clip all the way across the top. I just have my zipper open. It's just a lot easier that way. You don't have to worry about that zipper pull. And then to my sewing machine I go, and I just use my zipper foot for this. So I have my zipper foot on, and I have it right down the center of my zipper foot. So this is like 1/4 of an inch. You may have 1/4 of an inch pressure foot that you use, but this acts the same way. So it's 1/4 of an inch that I'm taking, and I just make sure that all those layers are even on the right hand side there. And then it's time to press this good. I just want to make sure that zipper is pulled out and everything is laying flat, and I'll top stitch this into place. Most important part is the back of it, just making sure that's pulled away from your zipper. Now on for the other side, the same way. I want to sandwich that zipper in between my layers, making sure it's even on the left-hand side and on top. Just getting everything even. Getting my clips on, and then I like to add my lining once those, and just remove those clips basically, and just get that lining in place too. Opening it up so to get that pull out of the way. And then back to my sewing machine to stitch that the same way as the first one. And the zipper is finished. I want to open it up, but I want that pull on the fabric. You don't want that pull to be off the fabric at this point. I have my lining laying in one direction and my pouch on the other, getting everything even. My zipper is folded towards the lining. You can see it there. It's folded towards the lining, and I just put my couple of clips in right at that point. Taking a pen and just marking the opening. You want to leave about a 4-inch opening on the lining, and then you just start to sew at that point all the way around. I walk my zipper, or walk my my sewing machine over that zipper part. Once it's all sewn, I just took like a 1/2-inch seam allowance and clipping my corners, just cutting off the rest of that zipper, and then passing it through that open zipper and getting my corners poked out, and then rolling and ironing. I love this part because it just kind of, you can really see it, just kind of comes alive. I just folded that opening down, and I'll just take that to my sewing machine. And we've got it done. I hope you enjoyed this, everybody. These go together really well, and it's fun to personalize them to whoever you want to give them to. Have a great week. Bye for now.